what they have in WoW, of course, when you have the where you can select a PvP battleground or something, and you can get a taste of it without the non-consensual PvP is what I call it.
I didn't want to be hit in the face, thanks.
Yeah, no means no, yeah.
It's like most people, if you ask them, do you like sex? Yeah. Do you like, non-consensual sex from Bubba? No, I really don't want that.
Not quite my thing.
Yeah, so you got I mean, no offense, Matt.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Goblin Goldcast with Dex and Mac. I got mouths to feed, so let's get this thing started. Time is money, friend.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Azeroth. You're listening to the Goblin Goldcast, your guide to making gold in World of Warcraft. This is episode 43. I'm your host, Dex, coming to you from Napa, California. With me on Skype is a man who recently discovered that with sufficient thrust, pigs can fly just fine, my co-host Mac from Anchorage, Alaska. How you doing, Mac?
I'm doing pretty good. Should I hide the catapult? Yeah.
No, the catapult's for the cat.
Oh, that's right.
Hence the name.
Yes.
Pigapult? No.
Yeah, keeps it off the furniture. Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, normally at this time we ramble on about our week and kill about 15 minutes, but we're going to have to forego that this week because we have an interview, and our interviews tend to run a bit long. So in order to save time, we're going to need to make that adjustment. And so we'll be right back with Shin from Shin's Tales of Gold right after this.
Hey, this is Heather and Dave, organizers for our 5th annual event, Con Before the Storm. This event means the world to us and the community, and for the last 4 years, none of this would be possible without you. Since 2013, when we began as World of Podcast, every year we have been humbled by the kindness of people in this community.
On Thursday, November 2nd, we plan to return with World of Podcast, our amazing fan art gallery featuring over 200 pieces of unique art, our meet and greet, where content creators like Bajira, esports team like Method, and celebrity personalities like Malik Forte, Pamela Horton, and Michelle Morrow have mingled with fans.
Our Kickstarter is currently in full swing. We want to hit our stretch goals to get a larger space, which includes a Frog Pants and A-Move TV meetup, plus potentially some other stretch goal surprises.
Thank you for taking the time to check out our campaign and for your continued support. Help us kick off BlizzCon celebrations this year at Con Before the Storm 2017. Party by fans, for fans. For more information, please visit kickstarter.conbeforestorm.com.
Joining us on the podcast this week is former host of Your WoW Money and author of Shin's Tales of Gold, Shin. Welcome to the show, man.
Hi, guys. Are you right? I'm good, thank you.
Hey, glad to have you here. Thanks for giving us the interview. Why don't we start by having you tell us a little bit about yourself? Who are you and where are you from, etc.?
Okay, so in game, people know me as Shin. That's been my nickname for as long as I can remember, back when I played football. But my name is Sean, and I'm from England, and I write a gold making blog and stream gold making and that kind of thing. So that's me, really.
Cool. It's got to be confusing everybody because you sound like you're from Texas.
Okay.
No.
I do come from a funny part of England where we have a mix-up of accents, so it can be quite strange. But yeah, I'm definitely from England. I think so, anyway.
There you go. It's not like that either one of us is going to be able to pick out any specific region of England. Well, let me just go with this. Why don't you tell us the story about how you first started playing WoW? I mean, when was it? Who got you started? And what was your first character like? What your race, class, and why you chose that?
Okay, so literally, I seen WoW around, and I got an old computer, and it was literally the end of vanilla, the start of Burning Crusade, and I've always been a gamer, so I always liked playing computer games. And so I got this game, and I put it on my old computer, and so firstly, Dwarf Hunter. Obviously, it was called Shin, and I still use that character today. He's no longer a dwarf, he's now a blood elf, but I still got the same character, basically. Yeah. And I picked him because he had a pet. And I thought that was cool. But it was so funny. I literally got this character, I loaded up the screen, there I am, and I'm trying to use the cursor to kill the wolves. I thought that's what he did. Yeah, just complete. I just didn't have a clue, bless me. I was like, but I worked it out, and yeah, still playing.
Cool.
So, so prior to WoW, did you play any other MMOs, and if so, which ones?
No, literally nothing. It's like it really was my first like dipping my toes into that kind of a genre of game. Literally, I played like every games, FIFA, football games, all that kind of thing, John Madden and that kind of stuff. All played them sort of console games. Never really had a PC, and then got the PC, and the first game I really got into was, apart from Football Manager, which was a great game, was World of Warcraft.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Wow. So your first foray into MMOs was a polished one.
Yeah, I have heard stories about other ones. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, a lot of us had to mess around with some that when they were still figuring the genre out, and they didn't quite have it right yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so hard. I mean, it's one of the big things with me with all the different MMOs that are out there is when I change from one MMO to another, it's trying to figure out the nuances and the different commands for that new game. So that's always frustrating for me.
They've standardized a lot of things, though. They really have. I mean,
right.
WoW kind of set a few standards that most games are following today, and if they want to compete, they don't want there to be a big learning curve. So I think you're seeing a lot of crossover for the commands and the movement and so forth.
Yeah. Definitely.
So the party versus group chess /P or /G that always nails me.
Because of the way we started with EverQuest, and it was
right.
/G was your guild. It wasn't the it was or /G was your group, and /GU was the guild.
Okay.
Right, and then the other thing that's interesting about WoW is when you're playing WoW, once you started a chat with, say, a group or party, you don't have to hit that / command, and I keep catching myself all the time doing that / command all the time to try to talk to my group.
Oh, it was when we first started games that we were playing in the beginning, they were a little bit keyboard intensive, let's just say, to try to have a conversation, but... So, why don't you tell us what realm or realms do you currently play on, and if you've moved around from realm to realm, you might want to give us a little of the history of that. And are we talking PvE or PvP?
Okay, so like when I first started playing, I played on this realm called Blade Fist, and all it was, I picked it because it said like new players, one of those realms, and literally that was my home for, I would say, quite a few years. And then the sort of the guild just fell to bits, and like they do every now and then. And then I found a home on the Maelstrom EU side. I'm a PvP man in the sense of I enjoy the idea of PvP. I enjoy the idea of playing the game having to watch my back. If you know what I mean. I wouldn't say I'm the greatest PvPer, far from it, but I do like that sort of competitive and that sort of I'm a bit squishy. I've got to be careful around here. So that's really good. And then like on the US, I've got a US account because I got in with Control Alt WoW. Don't the podcast, and got really in with like Rishna when obviously he's not alive anymore, but used to play with Rishna quite a bit. And then obviously play with Joe from Your WoW Money podcast. So over there I'm on Earth and Ring. And I find it really weird being on a roleplay server, not the roleplay part, but just the whole PvE thing. It's just a bit like I could do what I want, and it didn't feel right. It just felt a bit odd. Like I could just wander around.
I could go away from the keyboard and nothing will happen to me. Right?
Yeah, it's really strange. So I'm definitely a PvP man, not a PvP like hardcore player, but I do.
Right.
I quite like the environment.
I run into an issue late at night if first of all I'm lousy at PvP, but if it's late night and I've had a few beverages, I'm just not watching my back as well. So I just prefer the safety of a PvE server, anyways. But,
well, I have to say though that WoW got one thing right, and that's in other games that I've played, you've had PvP servers and PvE servers, role play, things like that, but all separate. What they have in WoW, of course, when you have the where you can select a PvP battleground or something, and you can get a taste of it without the non-consensual PvP is what I call it.
I didn't want to be hit in the face, thanks.
Yeah, no means no, yeah.
It's like most people, if you ask them, do you like sex? Yeah. Do you like, non-consensual sex from Bubba? No, I really don't want that.
Not quite my thing.
Yeah. So you gotta. I mean, no offense, Matt.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with it, but that's the comparison that I draw, is that a lot of people will like to play around with it, but they want it on their terms and where they can shut it off.
I got ganked too many times in EVE Online. Jiminy Christmas. But anyways, right. Shen, how would you classify yourself as a player? Are you a hardcore raider, filthy casual, or somewhere in between? And do you prefer to solo or do dungeons? And you just talked about PvP, so we know that.
Yeah, so like when I first started, I was a raider. I wouldn't say hardcore raider. The guild was quite casual in the sense of raid. I used to raid lead and through Karazhan and moved on through Wrath of the Lich King raid lead in Uldor. I was probably the best raid that I've ever done and led, which is really good. But now I sort of just, once that sort of guild like failed a bit, so I lost the interest in raiding. I do love the way that we at LFR, just so I can go and see stuff. So I'm more of a casual player now, and I'm quite happy to play solo. But I do like doing dungeons. I do like doing PvP. So apart from the hardcore raiding, which I've now stopped doing, I class myself as a casual who likes taking money off people.
There you go. Well, that leads us to, at some point in this whole WoW experience, you decided you wanted to focus a little bit on gold making. What inspired that? And, usually most of us have a moment where we were playing where we said, I don't have enough money for such and such. I need to make some gold. So what inspired it, and at what point in your playing history did that actually happen?
It sort of happened like 2014. I was having a look at my blog and having a look when I wrote my first post and stuff like that. And it was really after watching Jim Youngkin, Power Word Gold. To me, that guy's like a legend in the sense of the way that he handled himself when he was streaming, the way that he made gold, the way that he was helpful. And I sort of modelled myself a bit on that. I think, gold making community is quite a small gold, quite a niche market, should we say, when there's not a lot of us who do it as passing that information out. Unless you want to say, I can earn 20,000 gold per hour if you farm this. To me, that's not real gold making. So he does it the right way. He got me into gold making, and it was just because I was sick of being skint. I couldn't buy nothing. Do you know what I mean? I think it was the point where I was playing quite a bit by myself. I was having a break from the whole raiding thing and not really doing much, but I was just playing WoW, and I just wanted something else in game to draw me back into the love of World of Warcraft. It was sort of waning a little bit, and watching Jim and chatting to Jim, and so that's how I sort of found that gold making community for him, really.
Cool.
Oh, fantastic. So when did you realize this gold making thing was really for you? What was your aha moment?
When I sort of got it wasn't even a million. I'm not going to say it's a million. It was sort of when I got 6 digit. I got 100,000 gold, and I just sort of giggling to myself. When people buy stuff that I put on the auction house, and I'm just laughing. I'm like, man, people just bought that. That cost me $3 gold, and I just sold it for 2,000 gold and things like that. That's what gave me the buzz. It's like, yes, and then I could go and buy something. Cause I'm not really a mount collector, but I like pretty things. I'm a typical man. I mean, I shouldn't like pretty things, but I do like pretty things, and I could buy them, and that's what I like.
Okay. So, long story short, you really enjoy taking money off of stupid people.
Oh yeah, if you see, on my stream, my biggest thing, I'll talk about later, is I sell the most simplest things. My gold making is pretty basic, but it can you can make a lot of gold from it.
Oh, people will buy vendor sold mats and things like that.
Crazy.
It's amazing. Yeah, you can sell vials for anyway. So your WoW money recently came to a conclusion with episode 200. I noticed that you've continued the good fight with Shen's Tales of Gold. Can you tell us a little bit about how that all ended and about your focus now?
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise to me, really. Like, I'd been doing the Your Web Money podcast with Joe, and Joe's been, Joe's done 200 episodes, so obviously he's been around for years in the podcasting community, and we sort of met, and he just wanted to do something else. Joe doesn't play WoW much, really, like he used to. He's more into other Blizzard games, still a Blizzard fan, but he's just putting his focus into something else, which it was his show, and I was more than happy just to, say thank you, Joe, for letting me be part of your show. That gives me the drive then to focus on my show, which I did. I started, and then Joe's like, why don't you come and give me a hand? I was like, oh, okay, that sounds fair enough. And I had trouble to do one, let alone do 2 podcasts. So, yeah, It just gave me the focus then to do my own show. And it's, my podcast is just, it's more like a snippet, like a 15-minute thing of, this is what I've been doing this week. Try to pass on a tip or two if I can, and stuff like. And that's really, I always look at examples of, podcasts that I've listened to and stuff like that. And always, the Manor Caller was one of the favourite podcasts. The guy used to do a 15-minute podcast while he's driving his truck to work. And to me, that's it. To me, it seems to work well with the way that I want to do a podcast. So yeah, I've got to record a podcast the next couple of days to put another one out. So it's good. My
hat's off to you doing a solo podcast. I mean, Mac and I have discussed this a lot, and that has got to be the roughest thing, is to try to. I mean, I've talked about, there are a few people out there that are doing these solo podcasts, and one time, famously or infamously, I guess I should say, I attempted to do one of our shows when Mac was on vacation, and we had lost the audio to what I felt was our best show that we'd done up to that point. I was pretty upset, but I tried to put one together, and it sounded horrible. When you can't play off of somebody else, it's really hard. It takes a special kind of person to be able to do that, and that wasn't me. I found out very quickly.
It's definitely not me.
It's definitely tough. To me, it's definitely tougher, because when I did Your My Money, like, Joe's like the lead, and he would lead the show. We'd have show notes, and all I've got to do is just waffle on, and that's what I'm good at. I'm good at just waffling on, talking all the time. So suddenly when we I'm like, I've got to have structure, I've got to have this, I've got to have that. And it is, I'm not going to lie to you, it is pretty tough. It's not always, I find, like you say, when you've got 2 of you, you can bounce ideas and stuff. And the way you two guys have that sort of, the way that you chat and bounce off each other, I think it's brilliant. It works really well, so it definitely is a challenge.
We have a lot of fun with it, but yeah, it's one of those things where I can't even imagine it. And I know for us, I mean, I'm looking at the 15-minute show that you do now, and I'm thinking that's got to be, hey, I can have something fresh and new each time. And after 200 episodes, there had to have been times where you guys were saying, all right, what's the show going to be about this week?
Yeah, and if I said no, I'll be lying, because sometimes that's what happened, I think, with the show. It got a bit more about news based, and I think that's not really what Joe really wanted. He liked it when it had real proper content to talk about.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we decided to mix some interviews in, because people have heard our take on everything so many times, on different things where we start to repeat ourselves on certain topics, and it's nice to hear from other people and what they do.
Right, and get a fresh perspective on things.
Yeah.
And then Dax and I have known each other for so long that it's, we oh, the stories we could tell. But
most of them are filled with alcohol, aren't they?
There's a lot of them that have had alcohol involved.
Well, not officially.
Our most recent trip to Vegas was.
Yeah, that's a good time in Vegas. That was pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Mrs. Dex trying to keep us out of trouble.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Mac just trying to get us out of the room to stop making noise. Hey, Shen, tell us a little bit about your philosophy of gold making. What do you try to do? Always try to keep in mind while raking in those millions.
Okay, so like my gold making, when I stream on Twitch, I always say basic gold making, because I think that's, to me, is the most easiest way of making gold. It's being simple, keeping things simple. Sell, and what I try to do is sell the right items that people need right now. I don't get bogged down looking at old stuff, things like that, because I think that's just work. So I just try to, say what people want, keep it simple, but also don't be afraid to try something new, you know. And the way I work is I'm always willing to help people, you know. If people got a question about gold making, even when they're on, you know, in trade chat and they're asking questions about something, I'm not afraid to think, well, if I tell them that, I might lose some gold, because you know, some people just get stuck sometimes and want a bit of help, and that's what I try to do. It's not always about how much gold I can make. It's always also about if I can pass on some information and tips to other people to make some gold for them as well.
We've actually had a lot of listeners say something to the effect of, well, you know, I've got this idea for gold making, but you know, I'm worried about other people finding out about it. And usually, there's nothing new under the sun. You might think that it's your original idea, and it was, you know, 50 other people had the same original idea as well. But you know, we're all playing the same game, so it kind of works that way. But when we first talked about putting the show together, that was a serious discussion, because I told Mac, I said, the way I feel about this, if we're going to do this show, I'm not going to have, okay, here are the general things that we talk about for making gold, but you know, the really good methods, you know, we're going to keep to ourselves, and you know, and not let no, we didn't want to do that, and so. We weren't going to do the show unless we were going to every week take the chance on screwing up and killing the golden goose, you know, that was laying for us, you know.
Right. Oh, we also weren't going to do the thing of a spoiler alert. You know, hey, we're here to teach you how to make gold in the game.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, if there's a spoiler that comes in there, if you don't like that sort of thing,
Exactly. Don't listen.
Yeah, in one of our early episodes, I made a point of saying, this is the only time you're going to hear this from us. We don't do spoiler alerts. So if there's, you know, we were talking about at the time, we had early information that a lot of people didn't have, I guess, about what was happening at the beginning of Legion expansion. Well, other people had it, but not everybody knew. And about certain high-level deaths that occurred early on in the lore, and not caring at all about lore like myself and Mac. We don't care about it at all, so we had no problem spoiling it for people who did. But I even pointed out for people that didn't know and hadn't seen Citizen Kane that Rosebud was in fact a sled. So I made a point of, you know, Bruce Willis is a ghost. Right. So we covered all of that and let people know right off the bat that this is not one of those places where it's going to be, spoiler alert. You know, every time we try to say something, it's like, no, it just comes out how it is, and you know.
I think that works well, though, guys. You know, the way that you do the show, that's it. You know, what's the point of saying spoiler and stuff like that? You just want to do the show, and if people like you, they'll listen to the show, won't they? And that's what I think. If you keep it the way you two want to do it, I think to me that works really well. So keep it that way.
Yeah.
I'm so ADD anyways. My brain, I'll blurt something out without even thinking about it, and then later on, Dex will go, "Why did you say that?"
Yeah.
I don't know.
And he knows that my promise to edit something out is worthless. So, so one of these days, though, I am going to cobble together all the stuff that hit the cutting room floor, and that's going to be like our 1-year anniversary episode. Just kind of slap together all the stuff that didn't make it out. You know,
outtakes are us.
Mac dropped an F-bomb 5 times. Yeah.
Or I'll make it sound like you did. But
he's threatened to do that too. As I'm usually pretty clean in the show.
yeah. But so anyway, what's your current favorite method of making gold, and why do you like that so much?
Okay, so at the moment it's crafting Legion foods and selling that, and the materials like the vendor items. From, you know, like where you go and burn your food with Nomi. We all like going Nomi and burning the food. I pretty much burnt, I can't remember how much food I've burnt, but I've nearly got all my rank 3, so I've got pretty good high-end crafting for the food. And I sell all the crafted, the mats, like the snail and the onions and stuff that you can buy that you need to make the meals. And I literally sell the whole package. So literally I'll sell the top meals, but then I'll also sell the meals that you need to make the top meals, and then I'll also sell the ingredients that you need to make the basic meals to make the big meals, if you know what I mean. So literally I've got every base, you know, and that's to me, I'm really enjoying the cooking, and like even selling those vendor mats, guys. I'm like, I've made like 80,000 gold from just selling vendor items, which cost 45 silver each.
I love that.
I have been there. We've discussed on our show a couple of times about how when Legion first went live, I was amazed at how much people would pay for Starlight Rose Dust.
Yeah.
Didn't really think it was worth 200 gold a piece, but some people were buying it for that. You know,
and stacks of it, yeah.
and that's what I do. Like these vendor items, I've done a video about it, but I haven't like put it on YouTube yet because my talking's so atrocious. I got to redo it again. But I've done a little video to show people where to go and get them. And I know I might lose gold from it, but you know, people just need to know to stop being stupid and spending 200 gold on 20 snails that you can buy for 45 silver, and I'm putting the auction out for 200 gold.
Don't underestimate how lazy people can be. I mean, that's whether it's lazy in their research or just saying, I don't want to go to Dalaran to buy something.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah, that could be it. You know, that could be it. So literally, to be honest, the Legion cooking market, I have made hundreds of thousands of gold just from selling cooking stuff. It's been probably one of my best sellers in this expansion anyway. Really good.
Yeah, fantastic. Cool. So what was your biggest gold making win in the game so far?
Yeah, and it's been quite recently really, you know, because I think gold, inflation of prices and things that people can sell stuff now has gone, you know, through the roof. And I sold I got into selling battle pets, you know, and I don't pet battle apart from leveling them up in the garrison when it's when you can fight Squirt, when you can fight her, you know, the pets, what she's got. And I sold a Searing Scorchling for 113k, and I bought for like,
sweet.
Yeah, like hardly anything. And I just leveled 25, and then, you know, I sold that for, that's my highest one, like total of, for one item, for the highest profit, it was 113k.
So are you like Dex and I? Do you have bags full of Fellbat pups that?
I did have quite a few, but I literally got rid of most of them now. I haven't got much left.
One of these days, it's going to be my pet rock. I'm telling you, one of these days, it's going to take off. I know. I feel it.
You know, I sold a couple for quite a good money, and then suddenly you couldn't give them away.
Yeah. I think I can almost break even on them if I sold them now, maybe.
Yeah, I think I've got about 3 or 4 backpacks full of them. I was thinking it was just going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread, and that hasn't happened.
They're actually going to be worth quite a bit. You just got to hold on to them for about 2 more expansions.
Yeah, it'd be fine then.
I think.
I'm like nearly 50 trying to sell these battle pets. Come on, guys, buy them off me.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be like you buy this battle pet, you get the Fellbat for free. You know, you're gonna have to do a twofer or something, you know. But
right, that is definitely you've got to do that in trade chat and do that as a thing. Buy this pet, get 1 pet free. See what you're doing.
Well, we talked about your big win, and as we all know, what goes up must come down.
Yep.
And we've all had great big mistakes and oops moments. I made a really big one at some point in July of last year, but he's actually working out a lot better in the podcast now. But what would you say was your big oops moment, and that kind of stands out that you'd like to have a do-over on?
Yeah, I'm a man, right, and I should focus on one thing at a time. I should not try to multitask. So there I was. Right. I've got my 2 accounts. I've got my auction house account. I got my main account, and I'm PvPing with my son. So me and my son are PvPing, and we're playing our rogues. We're being little, you know, having a bit of fun. And I've got a blink strike. So I've got a blink strike, and it's worth like 75k on my realm, worth a lot of money. And what did I do? Post it for 950 gold. Bought within seconds.
Oh no!
Man, I was like, and my son's like, "What's the matter, Dad?" I was like, I just lost one of my real high-end items for like less than... And he thinks it's hilarious. He thinks it's so funny. He's proper ribbing me.
Oh, no. And somebody that has a trade skill master is saying, oh, I'm so glad I learned how to use sniper.
Yeah.
Look what I got, you know.
Look what I got. Gutted.
Oh, man.
Just because it's not the fact, because 75k, yeah, in some people's eyes that's a lot of money, but just the fact that it was just like, come on, Sean, you didn't. Why are you rushing for? Just take your time. And I didn't, and I was rushing, trying to, gutted. Still hurts. Man. Can you tell it still hurts?
We've all been there.
That hurts. That hurts.
Well, this week we actually had a listener from your neck of the woods. We had Liam from UK. He's from the Argent Dawn role-playing server. And he sent us a question that I thought it might be a good topic for a discussion for all three of us tonight. And he said, I've recently set up TSM selling operations and groups for transmog stuff and some BOE epic items, but only started out with about 130k gold. I've now spent almost all of it on the items that are now in the auction house for more than I paid, and I'm playing the waiting game. The question is, am I doing this right? Or am I supposed to sit back and wait for my items to sell for gold, or is there something I'm missing? I hope this makes sense. Cheers.
You want to take this first, Shen?
Yeah, he's pretty brave spending all his liquid gold on transmog and BOE items, and I sell transmog and BOE, so I'm not gonna say I don't do it, but that's a lot of, as you guys know, when you sell transmog, it's a slow burner, isn't it? You get a high profit, but it's a slow burner, so it could take a couple of weeks to sell anything really. So, he's brave, and I give him his due. He's done it, and he's BOEs I think he'd be fine, but the way I would do it is I try to stick. When I first started making gold, it was always like, right, rule is don't spend over 2/3 of your liquid gold. Make sure you got some gold in reserve. And I always, I think about the quick returns. Looking for cheap herbs and then flipping them and that kind of thing, just to build up that with that extra money. Buy your BOEs in Transmog, put them on, but with that extra bit of money you got left, that should be used for your little flips where you can make a bit of gold each day, sort of thing. That's what I would have done. But
yeah, we've talked about how much liquid gold to keep, and Mac and I have a little difference of opinion on that. We both agree that you should keep a bit, but just how much of it, we were a little bit off on that with each other, but. I have to agree with you that if he spent all of his liquid gold on one investment, that's rough. And the question of, am I doing it right? Am I supposed to just sit back and wait? Well, he doesn't really seem to have much of a choice to sit back and wait now, except for going out and farming more seed money if he wants to do that. But if he needs to back out of it, if he's got a little bit of buyer's remorse and he wants to find a way to back out of the situation he's in, he may end up having to take a small loss or at least not make any profit to hit the reset button. Otherwise, he's got to stick it out, in my opinion. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, when I sent him back an email, and I basically said, as long as you're not getting some of the more recent stuff that's really expensive to resell in the auction house, as long as you're not spending so much on auction house the price for setting the item up, you're okay. It's when that starts ticking into the profits that it can cause problems.
Right.
Your auction house posting price. Some of the old stuff, like those, like the Mechanohog, the thing that I just started selling recently, that's like 20 or 30 silver to repost it. If it takes me a month to sell it, I'm not going to lose any gold out of it.
And that works. That's a really good thing about the old how much gold it costs you for posting. It's like, if he's got battle pets, because they're like, I think they're silver to post, something like that, really cheap. So that's if he needs to get a bit of gold fast, you're not fast, but if he's got any sort of battle pets in his pet bank, we want to call it, I'll definitely think about posting those, because they're quite cheap to post, so you'd have to lose a lot of money on those. So definitely is an issue. But all that gold on transmog and BOEs, it'd be nice to hear a bit of feedback in the future, see how he got on.
Oh yeah, and definitely we've talked about how whenever you have a large majority of your liquid gold invested, even if you're invested in good deals, you have to resign yourself to the fact that there's going to be an incredible deal that's going to pop up in the auction house, and you're not going to have the gold to buy it, and you're going to be upset.
Yeah.
because you don't have the capital. The missed opportunity from your capital not being there is a big thing.
Last night I spent about $150K on some items. There were multiple people that were posting them in the auction house way under what the things have been selling for. And I bought them all up, and I know I'm going to make my gold back on them. But, that's, like I said, a very small portion of what I have liquid.
Well, this is for some of the new gold makers out there. If you were starting over from scratch today, you're brand new to WoW, brand new level 1, never played before. How would you go about building your fortune? What kind of method would you use, and what kind of things would you avoid?
Yeah, so, I think this is quite an easy one to start off with. I think you've got to start off with the easy market. And the easy markets for me, and I think for general people, is like herbs and like ore. So if you can pick up the gathering professions, is a really good way of picking ore and herbs. Because let's be honest, to me, on my realm, ores and herbs seem to be a good price at whatever level. So you can pick your peace bloom and stuff like that, or your tin and stuff. It's still worth a good bit of gold, and you can get a lot of that. So that's one market I will get into. And then it's stay away from, I think realistically you've got to stay away from picking a crafting profession for a start, because you don't know what's right on your realm. Every realm's different.
Right.
You can, for yourself, you can pick a profession, you can waste a lot of gold on leveling a profession up, and then get to the end, and you can't make any gold from it because you're not really sure what to sell. So definitely gathering professions. And I think flipping is a really good way of making gold. It's like the way I've talked about in my live streams, the way that you look at a market, and then let's do an example of Legion Herb. Let's look at foxflower, and then I look at foxflower and I pick the herb and I look at the prices and I think, right, I got a stack starting at 10 gold, and then I got a big gap then to a load at 15 gold, and literally I'll buy all the cheap ones like in 10, 11, 12 gold, and then post them all back up higher than the 15 gold. And that seems, and to be honest, that's a really good way of making gold. You just got to be sure what you're doing and realize that it will work. You just need to put a bit of planning into that.
Patience is your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, do a little due diligence on the auction house, and get an idea what the prices are, or what the items are going for normally. And
just sell we've all got, I use TSM and I enjoy it, and it's pretty daunting to new people, but even if you just put it in basically, it gives you an idea. What I like about TSM is like the tooltips. Like, it's really good, and people probably don't use it for that, but I use it to look at how much stuff is selling. So, it'll say it's selling this many on this realm. So it gives you an idea of what's being sold and how much, so you can then think, right, you start at level 1, so tin ore is selling, but copper's not selling, well, tin's made from but copper ore's not selling, or whatever, iron and stuff like that. And you can then look at which one's selling the most, and then you can think, right, I'm not wasting time doing that. I'm going to go and farm that and sell that, because that's the way I work anyway.
You have to have at least one funny WoW story to share with our listeners. Is there a time when you were making gold, or even just during regular gameplay when things took a comical turn?
Yeah, like back in BC, I mean, the old Ventulo server, and I was in a big guild, and we were quite, alcohol was definitely was probably the issue, really.
Every one of these stories starts out that
way. We're sort of, we're sort of sitting there and we're talking over vent and we're drinking, and we all got flying in. So BC, we all got our flying, and what we used to do was go to Shatra, and we used to go to the ceiling. So literally go as high in the sky as you could to where it wouldn't let you go any higher, and we'd all be there, and we'd have if some didn't get flying, they'd get a piggyback, but we'd all get on our flying mounts. Obviously, apart from the druids, they're just there in bird form. And then what it was, you had to drop down, so dismount, and then go through the centre of the Shatra, the circle in the middle, go through the hole in the roof, and then you had to get to the floor at the lowest point without dying. What's the high about that? That's simple. So there we are, around a couple of drinks. Right, let's do it. So up we go. Yeah, so dismount, fall down. I know, I'm on a warlock. splat. Man, all you could hear was laughter. Literally, people were just laughing and taking him because I'm just on the bottom. It was just stupid. I was like, yeah, like really excited. I could do this. I got my priest. Oh no,
yeah,
it's a warlock.
Oh man, yeah, that's kind of like they've changed it now, but it used to be on the original when they had the original 2-seater rocket that you get for a recruit a friend. I got one of those like right away when that became available, and it was so much fun on my druid. Just take somebody for a ride and then just decide the ride's over at some point.
Yeah, I never won that game.
Well, so why don't you tell us a little bit about what you spend your gold on? We know that you're not a big mounts guy, but I'm sure you spend it on something and don't just make great big stacks of gold.
Yeah, at the moment, I think it's mostly game time for myself, and then I did my sons play, and they've got an account, and I did try to get them to fund their own WoW time. Yeah, that didn't work out quite so well. So the bank of Dad helped pay for my son's WoW time, and now with where you can add gold to your Battle.net account, add money to your Battle.net account. I've just been starting adding a bit of money to that, and I had a friend who was playing WoW but was struggling with real life issues, and just sometimes people have got money, some people haven't. So literally, I had some gold. And I thought I'd do something nice, and I upgraded his account enough that he could have Legion.
Right.
It cost me nothing. It's just gold. It was just do something nice. So that's what I do. I play for game time, and then some nice, pretty transmog for my characters. I think that's about what I spend my gold on, really.
Your kid's not going to like this, but I have some advice for you on that about the whole Bank of Dad thing. Being a dad many times over myself, I can tell you that what you need to do is you need to have some in-game chores for them to do. So I've got my half hill farm that I need to maintain on 7 characters. If you maintain it for me, we can see about getting that WoW token for you.
I did try that. Doesn't help that they don't live with me. So literally, I haven't got that much control, which is a shame really. But I did try, and but I did play hardball one time though. I did literally cut them off. I was like, that's it. No more time for you, and literally left them a month with no game time.
I thought you were going to say, damn it, I can't even get him to make his bed. What the hell are you talking about?
that ain't going to happen. Jesus. He's like a teenager now. He's like, he just grunts at you.
Dex has that to look forward to yet again. Yeah.
Right. I have some young ones coming up. So.
Restarting the family. I'm happy with the grandkids though.
My oldest is 31 and my youngest is 6. So I'm a masochist. So
I've got a little girl who's 8, and I've got two boys. A little girl's 8, and she seems to be the harder to control than the two teenagers.
No way. Oh man, my daughter's the easiest one to deal with.
Oh my god, I've got doing something wrong.
My 11-year-old daughter is so easy to deal with on everything. It's like she's okay, Daddy, and she's like doing whatever, just do you need me to do the dishes too? It's like, damn.
Oh,
go ahead.
Can we okay.
Man,
that's it. Right, that's it. My daughter's going to get a talking to today. Do you know you need to sort yourself out? I've been speaking to people, and they said that their daughters are really well behaved.
Yeah, well, my 6-year-old though, with the same situation, he'd be like, piss off. That's just, I mean, you wouldn't say that, but that would be the attitude. I'd get the look, But, this podcast
I don't know where he gets his sarcasm from.
I don't know. I guess what you put out into the world comes back to you, right?
Yeah, damn right. It certainly does.
So, Shed, is there a piece of advice you'd like to pass on to our listeners, something we haven't covered so far?
I think, really, the only advice I want to give is the people who want to get into gold making is just give it time. Don't just expect to suddenly make gold overnight. I've been doing it for years now, and still sometimes it don't work. Just you know, do your research, like you say, check your market, stuff like that. I think that's the only advice I can really give, because like I say, you've given quite a lot of advice there in your previous podcasts, and we talked about a bit of some tips today. So it really is just keep going, keep working at it, and it will come, and you will see that 1 million gold appear in your bag. I promise.
I have to echo that. Yeah, patience is the big thing, and patience is how you make money off of other people for them not having it, and it's how you make it for yourself if you can just be calm and
yeah,
it's going to take your time and go through it.
And it's how you deal with your co-host.
Right. Well, I wasn't going to say anything. I've already outed you on a few things today, so. But you were way out of your league. Don't even try. Well, listen. Besides the three of us. Sorry. Besides the three of us, are there? There are a lot of people out there that are devoted to making, doing gold making content for people on YouTube, podcasts, so forth. Is there anybody out there that's currently doing some great things that you'd like to give a shout out to? And if there's more than one, that's cool too. Maybe somebody that's kind of a must interview person for our podcast.
Yeah, there's one guy is called Gumdrops. I don't know, you must have heard of him. He's in WoW Economy on the Reddit, and he's got the Discord channel. Like, that guy is like a font of information. He seems to, when you go in the WoW Economy TSM Discord, where it's a massive community, and he's always involved in the chatting, he's always there asking questions, answering questions, giving advice. To me, he is like one of those guys who, because he doesn't really stream on like Twitch and give that sort of thing. He's not really one that writes stuff, but he definitely knows his gold making, knows his TSM, and he's a guy who I think needs to be a lot of praise for the work he does at the, in the background. He seems that kind of person, but he definitely is like one. He knows his gold making. There's no thing.
So we need to out him, is what you're saying?
Yeah, we need to take a look at and see if we can get in contact with him, and hopefully he's never heard the podcast and he'll agree to come on. So.
Well, don't worry, guys. He's watched me stream before and actually stayed for the whole hour, so it's okay. I think class of the same kind of level, so he's all right. He's a nice guy.
All right. Well, listen, we really appreciate you coming on the show, and I speaking for myself, I've had a real blast with the interview. I can't remember last time I've laughed this hard. We've been having a good time.
So thank you for having me on. It's been good.
Well, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how would they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so, there's a couple of ways. So, like, we've got Twitter. So, if you go Twitter, it's just the 00 Shin. I know it should be Shin, but I don't know why I got the 00 Shin. And now it's stuck. I keep it as that. That's on Twitter. Also, if you want to email me, you can email me on talesofgold@gmail.com for any sort of questions about gold making. I'm pretty helpful. And I've got a blog, which is www.shinstalesofgold.com. where I put a post there about making gold from fishing and stuff like that, and battle pets and general chat, and also I'm on Twitch, so and Twitch is pretty good for me, because it's a way that I can I'm more at ease talking than I am writing. I'm one of those kind of people, and when I stream on Twitch, it's mostly about gold making, so I literally will just talk, and I'll stop what I'm doing. If people got a question, you can ask the question, and I will stop what I'm doing, and I will talk you through anything TSM, what's selling at the moment, things like that. So that's the three ways that you can either get in contact with me or watch or read what I do.
Well, fantastic.
Cool. Mac and I have talked about we've talked about for our one year episode that maybe we should do a live Twitch show, and the two reasons why I don't think we'll do it. One, it would be really embarrassing if nobody showed up for the live Twitch. And you got to have that fear anytime you do something like that. The other thing is, I think it will reinforce to people why we don't record the show live, that we pre-record. So, it's like, can I do that again? No. Oh, man. Again, thanks a bunch, and we'll keep track of what you're doing.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right, no problem.
Well, I think that's going to about wrap up this week's episode. I'd like to thank Schaefer Bates for his awesome work as the Goblin voice at the beginning of each show. Also, Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com for our theme music, Hot Rock, licensed under Creative Commons.
If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can contact us at Mac, that's MAC, at GoblinGoldcast.com, or Dex, that's DEX, at GoblinGoldcast.com. If you can't reach us on our main email, we have an alternate email, MacGoblinGoldcast at gmail.com. You can contact us on Twitter, at Goblin Goldcast, or you can visit us on Facebook.
And don't forget to visit the swag store at cafepress.com/Goblin Goldcast. And you can leave us a voicemail on our website, GoblinGoldcast.com. And please subscribe to us on iTunes or Stitcher if you listen to us there.
And we'll see you next week.
Now go make some gold.
The car you were picked up in was not a blue Nova. It was a green Chrysler.
Oh, well, that explains it. I jump-started the wrong car. I was in a hurry. I was on my way to church to say a few novenas for Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving is not a Catholic holiday.
Thanksgiving is very big with the Italians. Turkey cacciatore, sweet potato parmesan.
There is no such thing as Thanksgiving in Italy. It is an American holiday. And I've been to Italy. It's not
To Florence, right?
Yes.
Ever been to Sicily by any chance?
No.
Thanksgiving is very big in Sicily on account of the large number of Sicilians who went to America and then got thrown back out.